What's up, guys? Welcome to They Said We Said. This is John back for another spoiler review for Fear the Walking Dead. So this one's for episode 5, Burning in Water and Drowning in Flame. So this episode starts off with the most romantic zombie kill in Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead history. So Russ, the older gentleman, wakes up and he sees Martha kind of looking out the window, but
Martha! Why did you say that name?
But you know, Martha's not Martha anymore, unfortunately. She passed in her sleep, but she comes over and then we get the gummy scene. All you have to do to survive the zombie apocalypse is just to take out their dentures. That's not a bad place to be. You could probably live a long time in like a nursing home. So we go over to Nick and Lucy. I'll still call her Lucy because I don't know how to pronounce her, you know, cool, sexy Spanish name. But Lucy's better. Lucy seems to be on the mend and everything is great. But then, of course, fire! Fire! There's fire! And, you know, everyone in the town run over. You know, the fire department is anyone that could grab a bucket. And we're trying to put out Russ and Martha's house until Jeremiah comes over and says it's all for nothing. You know, they died. They're gone. They died peacefully. So the next morning, we kind of pick up the pieces and Madison is on board to go with the search party to find out who shot down the helicopter with Travis on board. She jumps in the car. Of course, who's leading the charge is weird, creepy Troy, and Madison gets the right shotgun all the way to go find and exact some revenge on. And arguably, the person that feels the worst in this entire episode is Alicia, because she has the worst hangover in apocalypse history, which she just tries to go and get some, you know, potassium back in her system. There's no Pedialyte where they are in Broken Jaw Ranch, whatever. But there is, you know, eggs and bacon, and we have a nice little flirting back and forth with Jake. More on that later. Jump over to the most aggressive buddy cop show with Victor and Daniel. The reverse kind of Lethal Weapon or Samurai Cop. Daniel is all in on finding Ophelia alive, even though he's really got to take a piss. Strand is trying to talk him away from this kind of behavior. He says, hey, we got a nice setup back at the dam. But, you know, Daniel's just like, nope, we are moving on to the hotel because that's the last place you saw Ophelia alive. And, you know, he doesn't even have respect for the Jaguar. You know, Strand just wants to get there safely in one piece and a sweet ride. And Daniel just says, nope, mow down all these walkers that are in the way. I don't give a shit about your car. So before we have the Jake and Alicia, you know, very kind of telegraphed love story, which I did quite a bit. I like Jake quite a bit. If someone's going to step up into that role for Alicia, I'm glad it's Jake. You know, so she goes up to talk to young Jake, and of course it ends with a kiss and a little bit more. And then at the end, he just wants to cuddle and read poetry. Alicia's a little damaged. She's not really into that. So Jake is just such a cornbread, you know, salt of the earth kind of good old boy. He's skipping rocks and just kind of telling Alicia what's what. But it seems to be it's gonna like bloom into a nice romance, which I really dig. So we roll up to the prison bus. So everyone wants to kind of drive through. We see a turned over prison bus, you know, where the guards and prisoners alike are just kind of roaming around. It looks to be about 15 to 20 walkers. You know, everyone's just like, come on, just leave it. We have a mission. Troy wants none of that. Troy he has the bloodlust. Every time he sees a walker, he can't let that thing go without, you know, splitting its brains open. But Madison, you know, does the power play, kind of agrees with Troy, just kind of, you know, putting on the facade of buying in. And Madison played a good game in this entire episode. She played the long game kind of thing. So she's like, yeah, let's clear them out. You know, they might stumble back to the camp, so let's just do it. These walkers were pretty badass, though. They were big dudes. They were prisoners. Madison almost ate it almost got eaten a couple of times. She's not someone that you want to put on the front line of walker elimination, but right when she was about to, you know, see the business end of a giant walker, we got an archer. We got an arrow shot to the face. That was a cool scene. That even, you know, it's The Walking Dead. Even Fear the Walking Dead, you got to have an archer. So that was a nice little throw to the original show. And Troy just takes way too much pleasure in eliminating walkers. He showed his O face quite a bit. Jeremiah finds Nick kind of cleaning up the old burnt down house. He's kind of scraping it. Nick's getting very introspective. He's in a lot different place that he was in season 2. Season 2, he was ready to go and roam around with the roamers basically and just kind of lose all humanity. Well, this season, you know, now he has something to live for. He's found his family again. He's reconnected with his family. He's seen destruction and death, you know, come to and fall upon people that he cares about. And now he has Lucy. So he has all these things that he wants to basically live for. So you could kind of see the inner struggle of Lucy wanting to leave, kind of, you know, not trust this place. But, you know, you could see right now, you know, Nick wants to kind of set up shop and set down some roots. So Jeremiah comes over, they have a conversation. Jeremiah basically tells Nick that this was the very first house that he lived in. You know, Jake was born in this house. He kind of gave it over to Gus and Martha when, you know, the second wife came. I guess Troy's mother came along. She wanted a bigger house, as some wives tend to do. Nick and Jeremiah are having this like kind of heartfelt conversation. And right here, you know, I'm weird with the music. Right here, it was really weird, and I got, again, taken out of it because there was like super ominous tones in this scene. It was just like, you know, they're having a nice conversation about the past, how, you know, he said, you know, Jeremiah said, I gave him this gun, and, you know, every house should have a gun, and, you know, just kind of taking him in as like a father figure to Nick, and Nick is definitely in need of a father figure, right? But the whole time they're talking about this, there's just like, I'm not saying Jeremiah has the greatest intentions or anything, but it's almost like, okay, don't force feed us that he's a creep and he's going to turn out to be the bad later. I mean, we could kind of get there on our own. We don't need these crazy ominous tones, you know, beating it into our brains. You know, just let us figure that out on our own. We get to the ranch, or the smaller ranch, the smaller little like farming setup, and we're walking, you know, Madison, Troy, and the rest of the soldiers kind of walking around. We kind of see that there's just like blood stains everywhere. But very empty. It seems, I guess it was an outpost. And then we get introduced to the Crow Man. The Crow Man was weird and crazy. He's just sitting down on the edge of a cliff, kind of mumbling to himself, and then we kind of pan to the back, and we see that his entire brain is exposed, and a crow is just sitting there eating him. That was just such a crazy image. It was very cool though. And then Madison, like a boss, just walks over slowly, just, you know, sets the knife right into the brain and releases this poor man from the madness. Then we get introduced to Walker. Really, show? This is the world that we're living in. We're gonna have a man named Walker in a Walking Dead show. Walker. I guess the American Indians are extremely upset, and I'm, you know, that's politically correct. Come on, I'm like 15% Blackfoot Apache. I know my own. However, you know, it seems like the Walker's tribe is pissed off, and he basically just tells Madison straight out, yeah, it was his tribe that shot down Travis and the helicopter, and they're gonna come to the encampment and take back over the land that Jeremiah and Troy and Jake kind of run. So, you know, he takes their shoes and he says, you know, mosey on out of here, deliver the message that we're coming to take it back. So on the way back, you know, all the soldiers are kind of breaking. It hurts, you know. They're walking probably, you know, 30 miles back home in conditions, and some of them, you know, have a footache, so they want to take a rest. Troy, being crazy ass Troy, is determined to get back, and Madison now makes another power play in the other way, not agreeing with Troy, but basically turning his own men against him, saying, no, we've had enough. We're setting up shop, and let's go take an overnight rest into a cave somewhere, and we'll pick this back up in the morning. Well, you know, finally Troy kind of relinquishes leadership for a moment, but then Madison does get woken up to a knife to the throat, Troy being Troy, and we see one of his homies kind of watching the entire thing. And then just kind of turns around and goes back to sleep. So, you know, obviously these men have seen Troy do, you know, crazy things, and Troy's asked these people to do crazy things like we saw at the military base. But some respect and everything is starting to shift over to Madison. So the show wraps up a huge loose end. You know, Strand and Daniel finally get back to the hotel, and right away we see that there's no lights on, gate bashed open. hey, no one's home. Well, actually everyone's home, but no one with a pulse is home. So, you know, Strand and Daniel kind of walk into the lobby. You know, he's looking for Ophelia. Of course, again, Strand comes clean and said, okay, you know, she was here, but she left. I could take you to her. Well, all of Strand's credit in the apocalypse, all the bullshit credit is completely gone. So Daniel kind of rings the bell for some service, runs out, and they part ways. He takes off in Strand's Jag, and Strand's just kind of left to kind of fight off the what used to be the hotel survivors, and you know, now completely turned walker, and he kind of runs off. It's interesting to see what Daniel and Strand do from here on out. So Daniel, you know, he has kind of the backing of the dam people, of the dam encampment. So it's interesting to see if he's going to go back there and kind of get some more people and go out to look for Ophelia again. And Strand, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes, because everything that he kind of knew is not working in his favor. You know, the Dante thing didn't work out. Daniel didn't work out. Now, I don't even think he knows where Madison and the rest are in this encampment. So it's going to be very interesting to see Strand alone, carless, weaponless, you know, but he is Strand. So once again, we got this nice little, you know, scene of no talking, and it's like Alicia looks like she's on the side of a mountain about to just end it all and jump off, but she does jump into this lake, you know, kind of, you know, emerges reborn again. She kind of is digging life again now that she has her side piece Jake, and just kind of a new lease on life. She's got a little, you know, stoner group to hang out with. She's got her family, and then Nick tries to set up a very romantic evening with Lucy. He tries to basically say that this is our house now. This could be our house. You know, Jeremiah gave him this gun to kind of stay. You know, we could really set up some roots here. And Lucy kind of gives him the wink and the nod, but Nick wakes up in the morning to a Dear John letter, and Lucy takes off. That is Burning in Water, Drowning in Flame, which turned out to be the name of a book. Very nice. That is the episode 5 of Fear the Walking Dead. I love this season so far. Fear the Walking Dead is killing it. No pun intended. Did kill Travis, which sucked. You know, episode 2 I still have nightmares about, but the rest of the episodes for this season have really been great. This is by far my favorite season of Fear the Walking Dead, and this episode gets a big fat 4.4 out of 5 from me. So thank you for watching Fear the Walking Dead reviews. We just started up Preacher, so stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for a very special season premiere, series premiere of Stephen King's The Mist on Spike TV. See what I thought about that one. So my name's John. You can find me on Twitter at OrzovDunn. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at They Said We Said, and we'll see you next week for Fear the Walking Dead.